introduce us. So this is Rainer, and I'm Lisa, and we are half of Schriftslabor, which is a small foundry in Vienna, Austria. And we share a little studio space with a florist and the lobby of cyclists. And we do corporate type, digital punch cutting, and retail fonts. Retail fonts, we just recently released a few. There are some specimens going around, I think. It's a Tony, Galata, Loveable, and Traction. But we also do custom type. The latest big project we did was for Sephora, the beauty retailer. These photos are taken in Bangkok at Sephora. Sephora is everywhere, just not in Austria, but you may have seen it already. But we also, this is the family we did. We did a type system of 22 fonts. So we had display weights, we had italics for it, text weights with italics, we had sans serifs, and 2 very fun script fonts. But we also do font production. This is Blender by Binnenland, a Swiss type foundry that we produced. We do all the stuff that type designers don't want to do when they're finished with their designs. We do spacing and kerning and open type features and all these things. And well, this is Hermann Zapf, and on his right, this is August Rosenberger. August Rosenberger was the punch cutter of Hermann Zapf, so he realized a lot of his designs. And we like to call ourselves digital punch cutters, well, like August Rosenberger. This is us, and Miriam, she's somewhere in the audience. Hi, Miriam. We did a workshop together yesterday. I saw some of you there. Good work. And we share our studio not only with the cyclists and the florists, but also with Glyphs, the font editor. And this is it. Probably a couple of you have worked with this before. And these are the people behind Glyphs. Georg, who is not here today, and Rainer. And also there's this mysterious piece of cardboard in your goodie bags. This is an iPhone stand, and I challenge you to build this thing. It's a bit tricky. Maybe you can do another workshop on that in the coffee break. But now let's back to our talk. In the last 5 to 10 years, a lot has happened in digital type design. Let's take a look back how type design was yesterday. It was a little bit more difficult to become a type designer. There was a limited access to knowledge. There were only a few big companies doing typefaces, and they had trade secrets. No one was sharing information. There was very little science, rudimentary science, and not very helpful for designers. It was very expensive. There were a lot of people working in these offices. This is from Monotype engineers. And yeah, this is an example of the science done back in the 60s in the UK for road signage. These people were sitting there and judging road signs while a car with them on top was driving by. But type design today is very different. We have a lot easier access to knowledge. We have great schools who teach typeface design over a year as a master course. We have good short courses all over the world. And there's, of course, the internet that shares a lot of information. So it's very easy to get all you need to know about typeface design. There's a lot better science today, which is also very useful for type designers now, about legibility and so on. And it's very cheap. The only thing you need is a laptop and the software, and you can release typefaces. Also, we have a lot better understanding about digital type design today. As you see here in this example, there's a kink on the top left, and there's a visualization how you can fix the curvature here between those segments and make them fluid and nice. Or like here, the relationship between inside and outside curvature is visualized nicely, so you can fix the problem and make it look good. Also, a problem with early digitized fonts that they had kinks were in curves, like in the S, for example, in the S curve. And today we can see the problem a lot better. And know how to solve it then.
You see that these 3 points should be on one line, and they are not. This is a typical interpolation problem, and we can take care of things like this much better than we used to. You see these kinds of kinks a lot in old fonts, by the way. Don't look too closely.
Yeah, but well, last year Rainer was talking about open type features. This time we're talking about variable fonts. As many of you know, that the cool thing about variable fonts that you have a lot of different possibilities, a lot of fonts in one single font file, and you can interpolate on axes with different parameters like weight and width, for instance, like this one. Oh, I have to say that this is axis Praxis from Lawrence Penny, sorry. This is a really cool web-based tool where you can test variable fonts. You can put them on there and try them out quickly. Also test installed ones. This is really fun. This is another example of one of our fonts. This is Loveable, where you have a weight and an S in their axis, and you can just try out different things. But now, Rainer is going to show you a few other things you can do that go way beyond typeface design.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, now you've seen the interpolations you can do, and partially extrapolations, and we already mentioned Lawrence. Wait a minute, I should be here. And Lawrence's website, Axis Praxis, contains a couple of experiments. One of them was doing an animation with an axis in a variable font. What you see here is a font. This is a font. These are vectors, right? These are not pixels. This is an animated horse. You can select it like any text you can select. I can copy this, and to prove you that this is really text, I paste it in here into Unicode Checker. It's the horse emoji in this font. Well, this font only contains nothing but the horse emoji. But what it does is it has one axis called time, right? And it contains the complete, one gallop of the horse. This horse, this is what it looks like in my preferred font editor. Yeah, so they're all good, but I like this one best. Just personal preference, that's all. And you see how Lawrence did this? He took different phases. He took pictures that are about 120 years old, pictures from Edward Muybridge, was an American who wanted to settle the question, or actually the bet, whether a galloping horse has all its hoofs off the ground at one point during the gallop or not. And it does. You see, what Lawrence did is he digitized like a couple of different phases, or all these pictures, and then he connected them up in a what do you call it? In an animation axis, basically. And here you see, for instance, the movement that one point makes. All these phases have to be point compatible, have the same amount and order of points. So you can, for instance, see the whole movement of the head, or what looks pretty cool in this horse is like the movement of the hoofs. And you see this is like the horse skiing, right? So, yeah, okay. Now, this is not part of that. Okay, yeah, and what, and then you put it up on a website, you put in some CSS that animates the timeline, or animates that, or basically pulls the slider, and then you get this, a running horse. And if you take it a step further, you get something like this. Oops. You get many horses that run around. Oops, but they're Oops. It's a little, it's too blinking now, sorry. It's experimental, I told you. It can get even worse. The following speaker, Toshi, is not talking about this now, so I have to talk about this. He also digitized the Muybridge horse, and I'm trying to, So you see this? He digitized the actual photos, and what he did is he did not vectorize the horse and then have the points go around like Lawrence did. What he did is he did a halftone raster. You see the movement of every square in there, right? And every point there is, has its vectors, its deltas as it's called, and they move along there. So basically what you get is a gray scale halftone raster, and it's a very inefficient way, of course. So an animated GIF probably has a smaller size. I think I caught Toshi saying that animated GIFs still have their justification. So you can't do everything with it. But this is a very good proof of concept, what you can do with variable font. Similar to this, he wrote a script that can actually read data out of animated GIFs. This is where you go. Or this one I like a lot. Yes, like Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, you see, and again, it's a halftone raster where every point has its own movement. Now, if you have a halftone raster, you can take several halftone rasters in different colors and overlay them, right? And that's what Toshi did. He took these are 3 letters actually, right? Again, this is a font, right? This is a font. This is not. This used to be an animated GIF, but if you look closely here, he took 3 letters: a red one, a green one, and a blue one, and had each of them with a halftone raster. And to prove that this is really a font, I can copy this and I can go in here again. So, and you see it's A, it's B, and it should be A, B, C, but I think I only got the. Oops. Yeah, all right. Oh, it's 3 A's, I think. And similar to this, then you can do anything. You can even read out color animated GIFs. And I see, yes, here we are. Like this one. This is a font with 3 letters in them, right? And each of them have an animation. And if you put them into red, green, and blue, you get this. And this font with only 3 letters is, I think, more than 8 megabytes. So I think this is the least efficient font ever, to my knowledge. And one last one, similar to this. Again, halftone raster, red, green, and blue. Fantastic. Yes. Next one. These are pictograms, animated pictograms by a guy, fellow Austrian called Thomas Meyer. And what he did, here I have a variable font slider, and here is like a switch that turns on the light. So it's dark, light, dark, light. And how it does it is like, how do you keep this point compatible? What it does is it has you see this here? It has the darkness hidden inside the hand. See that? And if you play it, then you get this. Yeah, turns on the light and turns it off again. Yeah. And he did a lot of pictograms like this one for highways, right? But going on a highway, you have to drive a car, right? But you can drive big car or a small car, doesn't really matter. But it's dangerous, right? So it's not a very safe way to travel. So let's not take the car. Let's take the railway or an airplane, or a helicopter, which not everyone can afford, of course. So let's better take the boat. Sorry. And then you have to watch out for, what is it called, lighthouses in English? And but it's also dangerous, yeah, here. Oh, sorry, this should only go in one direction, yeah, because this is, see this here, very dangerous also, yeah, you might hit an iceberg. And this can happen, of course, and once you, when your boat sinks, it's also very dangerous. Okay, so better stay in the Alps, in Austria, where we come from. Yeah, you do this a lot, yeah. But also very dangerous because you might lose your hat, not head. That would be really dangerous. Or so stay on the ground, but you know, if you stay on an escalator too long, you end up on the wrong side. So also not good. So better take the motorcycle or the normal bicycle or the car or the bus or the taxi or the bus. Can't decide. So the power of animated pictograms. Yeah, if you want to fit more people, you have to take the bus, of course. Or should we take the bus or the train? Good question. But it's dangerous again because you need gasoline. Gasoline, burns very long, so dangerous. So let's better stay home and stay on the rocking horse. Yeah. This, by the way, is very difficult because you can only move points linearly. So we had to take a lot of steps in between for rotating. This is pretty difficult to accomplish. Yeah, and because you deal with kids, you must have a lot of toys. Do this, stuff like this. Everyone did this as a kid, I suppose. But also dangerous because you have to use scissors. It's not good for kids. By the way, speaking of kids, so this is the baby pictogram animated. But every parent knows, or this one, but every parent knows this is the reality, right? So I've been told if this grosses you out, you don't have kids. Okay, but when you have kids, you spend a lot of time on the playground. Doing this, again, rotation, very difficult to realize, yeah, but great to look at. Spending a lot of time on the playground, you have to work out a lot, of course, because you have to push the kid on the thing, or a lot more workout, better together. And but again, sports also very dangerous. You might lose your head in this case, especially football. Then you end up in a wheelchair, but you can still play with your kid. So this is a typical type designer's working position. So stay in your rocking chair and work. So actually, type design is a pretty safe thing to do. So we should all stay at home and keep type designing. Drink coffee, drink water, write our proposals or whatever, and then throw away the ones that are not so good, and mail them off. Sorry, just so if you have a bad client, maybe then you can't sleep, right? So better go on a trip. And I don't know what this is. Yeah, you make up something. Then be careful what you pack when you go on a trip, because customs might be interested in what you do. And spend time with friends and this should not go backwards, of course, yeah. Then take the plane, go around the world, like coming to Bangkok from Vienna, and take some time to read books. It's very important for type designers, of course. You must keep reading. And, I don't know, watch deer, swim a lot. This is the pornographic section now. So do we have anyone below 18 in the audience? Yes, is everyone? No. Yeah. Yes. So if you're offended, you can look away. I will tell you when you can look again. And no, don't watch this. Yeah. Don't forget your umbrella, of course. Fantastic. And this is the universal human being icon, because this is, man, woman, Baroque woman, and need to go to the toilet, man. And, so wow, this is all one slider. Yay. Cool. And this is one of my favorites, because this was the basis for the next thing, for this one. So this guy, I don't know if you realize, he brings one person home. This is like a very dangerous way of traveling, of course, right? And then it's the end of the day, and he goes home himself. Yeah. So, so that's the end of the pictogram story. So hope you like it. So, so that's demo time. And thank you. Yes. Wait a minute. There's one more thing. The typeface you've seen throughout the presentation is a typeface called Galata. This is what it looks like.
Loveable.
Sorry, Loveable. Sorry, did I say Galata? Last year I showed Galata. This year I show Loveable. I'm 1 year behind. Okay, this is Loveable, which is also very typical for type designers. This is a project I started, I believe, 14 years ago, and Miriam finished it. She did the italics and the small caps. Very well done. Loveable is inspired by bath ceramics. The furniture you get in, the sink and stuff. You see, Loveable has these rounded edges, right? And this is it's very typical. Like here, the stone here is like rounded at the edges. And I took this picture at the hotel where I'm staying, and you see this? This is these are these water dispensers that are triggered optically, right? They have like a light sensor in there. So light sensor triggered water dispenser. Now I have to ask a question. Is the inventor of the light triggered water dispenser in the room tonight? Because come on stage, I'll smack you in the face. Because you know why? Because how we stand and how the rest of the world stands in front of your invention, like this, right? Because it doesn't, the water is not coming, right? And you keep doing it, you're almost giving up, whoosh, and then it hits you, right? Terrible, right? And then you're all wet, and then you have to go out, right? And then you can't, right? Because no one's gonna believe you. No, it's the light triggered water dispenser. Yeah. So that's the story behind Loveable. And if you want we have specimens here, both for the Sephora system and for the type releases we had, including Loveable. And they did not make it in time for the goodie bag, but we have them in stock back there. When you go out for the next break, grab one, please. So, but now, thank you.